welcome to my channel. Today's video is a seascape study with alcohol markers. I saw J-Hope's Instagram post of the sea, which I'll link to in the description, and it was so gorgeous I just had to draw something that was inspired by it. I tried to keep the lines looser and not overthink it, which I often do at the line art stage, especially when it's digital with those endless undos, and then I get a bit frustrated with how it turns out because I feel like it loses a lot of the life that the sketch has. So yeah, trying to keep it loose here. I started colouring by scribbling some rose pink on a soap dish and using the colourless blender to apply it to the page around where I saw it in J-Hope's photo. It looks a bit weird at the moment, but I remembered what I think Lindsay from The Frugal Crafter who said, with marker drawings it often looks bad before it looks good. So I guess I just trusted the process while laughing very nervously and hoping very hard. I was doing a lot of diagonal lines and then it occurred to me that hey, maybe I should try and do lines in the direction of what it looks like in the photo, which was a lot more horizontal. And then it started to look a little less bad. I left some white spaces for the lightest parts of the sky, which I guess is also the benefit of doing watercolor paintings, which helps me practice that. The thing that confused me a bit about this seascape was that it looked really saturated in some parts, mainly the dark parts, and super blue but also desaturated, and also pink. I realised a bit later that using the rose pink and orchid actually worked nicer for desaturating the blues than going in with the ice grey shades like I'm doing here, but you know, practice is for a reason. Midnight blue is my darkest blue and I'm blending it out with I think powder blue, though later I did more with orchid and I liked that more. I'm not really sure. Blue and purple palettes will forever have a hold on me. You can probably see here that the ink dries a bit lighter than it first looks, so I had to layer a few times to get the really dark shades that I wanted. Oh, and also I was blending out with a bit of rose pink as well, I think. I added some French navy because it wasn't looking as deep saturated blue as in the photo, and I was so confused because it would either look too blue or too desaturated. Ugh, but I guess my tip would be to just leave it and then go do another part of the sky first. You can probably also see that the pen marks kind of blend out a bit, even if at first they look super harsh, which I think happens when the ink hasn't totally dried yet, before you add more. Which I guess is how the effect in the end can still look soft, even though I was really worried that the chisel tips would be too hard shaped, which was a little silly because I've used these markers before and did soft transitions fine, but I just forgot. Anyway, long story short, just use enough ink and don't wait too long between transition shades and then it should blend fine. So this marker that looks white is the colorless blender pen, and I think here I'd picked up some turquoise that I'd scribbled onto the soap dish and was applying it around the edges of the darker clouds. Something I quite like about this is that you can still kind of see the marker strokes even though it looks soft overall. I love seeing that kind of stuff in digital art and watercolor paintings and the like, and I'm just kind of glad that I didn't blend things into oblivion like I do way too often. I left the drawing overnight before doing the water because, honestly, the sky was a roller coaster. The horizon line is quite saturated and dark, and I had to go a bit back and forth with the darkness and saturation, quite like I did with the sky. And I guess layering was just how it worked out for me eventually. I actually love this denim blue marker. It's one of my recent acquisitions from the manga chibi set when it was half price. It's such like a nice, soft, desaturated blue, and I used it so much in the study. Oh, when I said manga chibi set, I meant the Winsor Newton Pro Marker manga chibi set. I think they do like different collections of colors for, I don't know, I guess different drawing purposes. So the reason why I'm doing this study now is actually because I wanted to draw something with sky and water and clouds in it for Taehyung's birthday, but I haven't used markers since July, maybe, and I really felt out of practice. You don't even want to know how many tutorials and draw with me videos I watched before this, though I'll link to some of my favorites in the description box in case some of you might find that fun or helpful to watch as well. So just now you might have noticed I was using this dark purple marker called Aubergine with my darkest blue marker, Midnight Blue. And then I eventually found that it was a lot easier to mix them on the soap dish first and then apply it with the colorless blender, which I tried to show on camera later, but then I didn't realize my phone had run out of storage, so there's actually a little bit missing from this process. I'm sorry. It's just the part where I finish the beach portion and do the rocks. It was at this point that I realized, oh, I have no idea how to color waves or frothy water. So I went for a couple of the shadow parts, just trying to do shapes based on what I saw in the photo and the lines I'd already drawn. And then I went back to the main sea part for a while because I was a little stressed. You can kind of see in this video my complete inability to leave things alone. So I guess I'm lucky that the pro markers layer well. Oh, also, just to say, I'm not sponsored in any way by pro markers. They're just the markers that I own. And as I really liked my first set, I think it was the manga chibi. No, it wasn't. It was the manga, one of the manga sets. I just kept adding to my collection every time I saw they were on sale. And oh, If you use alcohol markers too, please let me know in the comments which ones are your favorite. So the sand is really wet in this scenario, so as it's reflecting a lot of the sky, it's really blue as well. So I put in some turquoise, more cool aqua, and I think some warm grey 5 at some points to differentiate the colours a bit from the sea and the sky. So yeah, you can also see my little soap dish in the bottom right corner. So yeah, here we are with the finished study. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed and that maybe some of what I learned during this practice helped you too. If you liked this, please consider liking and subscribing. It really helps so much. See you next time. Take care.